Good evening. It is around 9:30 p.m. on Monday the 30th of January, and I am standing on the roof of my condo. From this position I have a tremendous view over the Chao Phraya River and towards Wat Phra and Sanam Luang, and on the other side over towards the city. I don't often come up here, but tonight I thought it might be a nice place to make a recording, quieter than the streets and also good for my concentration because there is nobody here, only me. So what has my day been like? Quite uneventful, really. Nothing much has happened, either good or bad. I did have one unpleasant incident where I was typing an important letter on my computer, and just after I had finished the letter, for some reason I don't understand, the text suddenly disappeared. I think I must have clicked the wrong button, so I had to type the whole thing again. How annoying and frustrating. Has that ever happened to you? I'm sure it has. One of the disadvantages of the computer age is we can lose a whole load of information in a nanosecond. I guess that will teach me to be more careful in the future. Yesterday evening, a student asked me a question. She asked me what is the difference between the meanings of the words ideal and idealized. Ideal, I-D-E-A-L, and idealized, I-D-E-A-L-I-S-E-D. The first word, ideal, is quite easy to explain. It means something like perfect. For example, my ideal house would have 4 bedrooms, meaning my perfect house, or the house I would really like to have, would have 4 bedrooms. Idealized means something more like exaggerated or something which may not be possible. For example, I spoke to my friend and he told me he lived in a house with 50 bedrooms. I think his idea of his house was idealized, meaning exaggerated or not true. Here's a question for you. Do you think we should try to pursue ideal things in life, or should we settle for something less? Should we always try to get the very best example of something, or should we try to make do with something far less attractive? So, for example, if I want to have a car, maybe I might like to have a Lamborghini or a BMW. So should I work hard and save money to be able to buy one of these cars? Or should I accept something far less extravagant? Maybe a cheap Toyota. I can see that many people would say we should go for the former, meaning try to get the car which we think is going to make us happiest. But one problem I can see with that is it may take you some time to accumulate the money you need to buy such an expensive car, and your ideas, your desires, your interest in cars may well have changed by the time you get all that money together. So in that case, maybe pursuing what you think is perfect may not be the best choice. Whether we want to pursue the best possible choice, or whether we should try to accept a more attainable life, depends, I suppose, on what it is we are talking about. With regard to something like food, for example, I would say we probably should always be trying to feed our bodies with what we think is the best in terms of quality, in terms of quantity. But here we are forced to examine and question what we mean by best. Some people might think that a hamburger is their idea of ideal or perfect food. But if they investigate their thoughts, they may change their mind. They may think that actually, even though this food may be tasty, it's not really very good for my body. So perhaps I should try to change my eating habits. So we can see that when we talk about the ideal or the perfect, we have to investigate in our own minds why we think that thing or activity is the best thing for us. This may well lead to us changing our thoughts about many things. But you don't want to become apathetic. Apathetic, meaning a person who can't be bothered to try to improve their lives, is too lazy or doesn't have the energy, or thinks that the problems are too difficult to overcome. If, for example, you don't like your job, but it nevertheless gives you a reasonable income and security, maybe you don't have the energy and motivation to try to change. But later in life, when you are old, you may feel regret that you did not try harder to make your life better and pursue things which you felt were more satisfying, interesting, or rewarding. So if there were one thing which you could choose to have in the most ideal or perfect way, what would it be? Would it be about possessions, relationships, your body, or your activities? Would you want to be the most beautiful or handsome person in the world? Or the richest? Or the fittest and strongest? Or would you just like to live for a very long time? What about me? What would I like? Well, I would certainly like to improve my Thai language. That has been a real frustration. But I guess that's not a really important thing. I don't think it's going to make me that much happier. If I could speak really fluent Thai and impress everybody, it might be exciting for a while, but it probably wouldn't really change my life in any significant way. I guess I wouldn't mind having more money. My ideal amount of money would certainly be more than I have now. But even that wouldn't change significantly my lifestyle, because I'm not the kind of person who wants to buy a lot of stuff. So even if I had $1 million in the bank, I'm not going to rush out and buy an expensive car, or buy a bigger condominium, or start taking flights to exotic places around the world. When I think about it, I really don't have any strong motivation for anything. That may be something to do with my age and experience in life. I imagine young people in their 20s have much stronger and clearer ideas of things they would like to attain. Me, I can think of a lot of little things I would like to improve. My health, my sleeping, my physical fitness, my Thai language, but nothing really earth-shattering. Nothing which would feel like an earthquake in my life. So think about what you would really like if you could have one thing in an ideal way, a perfect way. What would it be? So as I look over the river here, which is sparkling and calm, I would like to say good night to you all.